Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is that time of the week again. It's come round quicker than a chief advisor's trip to Newcastle. Back for the Jags cast. This morning, as you can see, joined by regular panellist Donners and Alan Fraser, number 7. And our very special guest this morning is Gary Peebles. Gary, thank you very much for coming on this morning, joining us.
No problem. I appreciate the offer. I'm looking forward to it.
It's great to have you another star, because Gary, I mean, some of the stuff that you achieved, I mean, you had your 5 years at St Mirren. You actually played in one of the, was it a couple of the rounds or a couple of the games leading up to the cup final win that St Mirren had in '87?
Yeah, sometimes in life it's sometimes better to be lucky than good. And I think in many respects I've been lucky, particularly in my football career. You're right, I played at St Mirren for 5 years. I seriously must have the all-time record reserve appearances. I played that many games in the reserves. But I was fortunate in the year that we won the Scottish Cup. I'd been doing well in the reserves, and the new management team, Alex Smith and Jimmy Bone, came in, and they put me on against Inverness in the third round of the Cup, last half hour, and I did well, and I managed to get myself in the team. And I had a wee run of games, maybe about 8-10 games, and that coincided with a game against in the fourth round down at Capello. Mm-hmm. As everybody knows, St Mirren Morton, there's a lot of rivalry. It's like a big derby, and we won. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, I picked up an illness just prior to the quarter final against Wraith Rovers, and I'll be honest, I think probably Alex Smith would have changed it. I was young, and I think going away to Kirkcaldy, he maybe went for experience, and I wasn't involved. And then the rest is history. They went on and had a good end to the season. But just to be a local boy, St Mirren's my team, being part of that, the whole day, the whole build-up, the winning the trophy, the bus journey through Paisley, into the town hall. I mean, it's the stuff of dreams when you're a local boy. So, yeah, it was great to be part of that. But I didn't play many games with St Mirren, but I certainly was involved in that period. So that's one that I'll check.
Gary, see at that point, were you still a striker, or had you been converted to midfield at that point?
Well, what had happened is I went to St Mirren as a striker. I played local juvenile football with a club called Partick Thistle, and I used to score goals for fun, and I had the chances to go to several clubs, and I was training at St Mirren, and Alec Miller was the manager at the time, and he offered me part-time, and I didn't even think twice. Again, hindsight, I had a chance to go to Dundee, Motherwell. A couple of clubs in England were sniffing about. Anyway, I signed for my local team and I played striker. And it's a kind of strange story. I went there and I couldn't stop scoring goals at juvenile level. First 3 or 4 games at St Mirren reserves, I must have scored 7 goals. I thought, here we go, this is easy. I then never scored a goal for about 6 months. And I found myself out the team. So I went to Alec Miller, probably about 8-10 games to the end of the season, only a year's contract. And I said, why am I not playing? And he said, well, bottom line is you're not scoring goals, you're a striker. I says, well, play me somewhere else. He says, well, you came as a striker, where else can you play? I said, well, when I started playing at juvenile, I used to play fullback. So, and this is a true story, I played the last 8 games of the reserve season at left back, and I think I get man of the match in 6 of the games.
Aye.
And I got another year's contract. And so then from then I played right back, left back, centre back, and I pretty much did that for the next 3 or 4 seasons. And then I played just before Alex Smith and Jimmy Bowen left St Mirren. They played me a couple of games in midfield, and they basically said, look, we think this is going to be your position longer term. And then when I moved to Thistle, I was a midfield player, and then I just played midfield for the rest of my career. So it's strange how these things work, but I mean, at one point, I was going to probably be lost to senior football. And then when I went back to play fullback, it got me another year's contract, and then I did well, and it just kind of went through there.
Gary, we've all got memories of you being quite a combative kind of midfielder. I can't think of many combative strikers. Did you adjust your game as you went on then through different positions, or were you just like, get me on and I'll do it, I can't impact a game?
Well, again, if you go back, I played sort of fullback in kind of some midfield games when I was at juvenile level, but my father was a striker. My father was quite a high-profile striker in junior football back in the 60s and 70s. and he played with Kilbirnie Ladeside and various Irvine Meadow, various juniors. He's very, very well known down in the Ayrshire regions. And the manager at the juvenile club says, "Why don't you just stay? I'm going to play you up front." He says, "Your father was a striker," and it just snowballed from there. But I was always that type of player. I was always, you know, what I didn't maybe have an ability I made up for in work rate and effort, and you know, put myself about and liked to tackle, etc., etc. So, and that kind of lived with me right through my career. You know, even at Thistle, you know, I was never short of a tackle. I never short of putting my foot in. Unfortunately, I get sent off several times.
I actually said in one of the build-ups to this that you tackle your granny.
Again, Raymond, you know, it's like you play your strengths, you know, and as I say, you know, you people like Chick Charnley and, you know, John Flood at the time, very skillful, great ability. So you have to have a Gary Peebles or two in the team.
Yeah, that's right. So it was January 89 that you signed for Thistle. That came about. I believe that was something that had been kind of mooted you, but were at that point when Thistle contacted you, were you on loan to Doncaster? I think it was.
Yeah. I'd went down. I'd basically went down there on trial, and I stayed down there for about nearly 3 weeks and played a few games. And it didn't really work out. The manager at the time was Dave Mackay, you know, the famous Scottish midfielder. He was a manager with Joe Kinnear, and they were looking to go in a different direction, and they didn't offer me a contract. So I came back up the road, and I had used to be a guy called Alan Mackinnon. You know, you will maybe remember Big Alan. He played
big centre half.
Big centre half.
Aye.
So
right.
It was in the early days of the kind of agents coming on stream. And Alan owned a local pub in Paisley that I used to frequent, and we got to know him. And he says, "Look, I'll try and get you a club." So I was about to go on trial down to, I think it was like Chesterfield and Plymouth and teams like that. Yacht City was one. And then Billy Abercrombie had moved to Thistle under Lambie as the assistant manager.
Yeah.
So I was fairly friendly with Abba at St Mirren, and he phoned me up and says, "Look, do you fancy coming to Thistle?" But I was full time at the time, and I was young, and I was like, "Oh, it's part time. I'm not really sure." And he said, "Look, things are moving forward at Thistle. You know, the manager's come in. He's got big plans. You know, you'll be a good addition. Some good players there. Blah 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 blah." So I kind of hummed and hawed a wee bit, and then I decided, right, I've got nothing to lose. I spoke to Alan Mack, and the way it worked out, the money that Thistle were prepared to give me in terms of like a wage and a sign-on fee was actually more money than I would have earned if I stayed full-time to the end of the season.
She's so.
It made sense. So it made sense to go, well, let's take the leap of faith, and I'll try and get myself a job. So I decided to go, and unfortunately for me, Thistle drew St Mirren in the cup. And so I went to see Tony Fitzpatrick, and the whole ironic thing is Tony Fitzpatrick then says, "Oh, we'd like to keep you, but you'd really need to go part-time because I'm trying to cut the squad." And I says, "Really? You know, I'm full-time and you want me to go part-time and you've not played me?" I says, "No, I'm just going to go." And he said, "Well, I'm not letting you go until..." Back then, it was 2 weeks you had to sign before you could get
That's right.
the cup. So I signed like 13 days before it so that I didn't play in the cup game. And then obviously, you know, Thistle won. In fact, to be fair, probably one of the best games in, you know, that round about that time for Thistle.
Yeah, it definitely was. Because St Mirren were Premier League at that time. We drew nothing each at home, and then 3-1 away from home, 3-1 at Love Street. It was great.
It was a fantastic performance. But again, that was the Lambie effect. You know, he just had that kind of. There was just something about him that, you know, sometimes you want to strangle him, and other times you'd want to hug him because he just seemed to get the best out of players, and he just knew how to press people's buttons where they would be that angry with him that they would be determined to show him, you know, how good they were or that they deserved to be in the team. And certainly his impact at that time got the club moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
If you remember that game, John Flood was just unplayable that night, wasn't he? You know, and I think if memory's right, I'm sure Paul Lambert played for St Mirren that night, and if you asked us back then, I'm sure we'd have thought John Flood would have become a Champions League winner, no Lambert. He was unplayable. Did you, Gary, were you eligible for the replay since it was beyond the 14 days?
No, once the draw was made, you had to have signed 14 days prior to the game, which meant that you were then ineligible for that round of the competition, no matter how many replays or whatever. But you're right, going back to that side, when I joined, you had Floody, you had Chick, you had Jerry McCoy. I mean, Jerry could score goals for fun.
Aye.
You know, I mean, he was just an out-and-out goal scorer. You had Bobby Law, you know, Mr. Consistency. You could play Bobby anywhere and they would give you a turn. There was a lot of good players at the time, but Lambie, being Lambie, he could see the big picture and wanted to try and bring in a wee bit better quality, and it was going to take a bit of time and gradually build towards eventually getting to the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of that season as well, Gary, I think it was that season, you played, we were talking actually, funnily enough, to Andy Murdoch about it a couple of weeks ago, the Glasgow Cup win. Of course, that was the last time it was played as a seniors competition as well.
That's right. Andy's probably said, I mean, I think me and Andy joined at the same time. We played, our debut was against Clydebank.
Right.
And then thereafter, I think we went on a run to the end of the season. I don't know the stats, but I think maybe there's 12 games and I think we won maybe 8 or 9, drew one and maybe only lost 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Andy was saying. He was saying he couldn't understand when he got there what the problem had been, because we just kept winning. Once you two had arrived and towards the end of the season, we were totally consistent. And he couldn't understand what the problem had been before, you know.
Well, maybe we'll come on to it later on, but if when we get into maybe talk about when Lambie left and Sandy Clark came in, there's a kind of story behind that as well. But yeah, we had a fantastic run to the end of the season. We played Clyde, and I think we won 2-0 at Firhill and won the Glasgow Cup. So, and back then the Glasgow Cup was, it was
that's right.
not like it is now, where it's the under 18s. So it was a great end to the season.
That's right, and of course, then that started the kind of ball, as you say, started the ball rolling as Lambie started to kind of move things forward. Obviously, just as you were saying, the following season was when John left and Sandy Clark came in, and then John came back, and it had been such a great start to that season. And of course, John's first game back at Firhill was was as Hamilton manager, and of course Andy was playing that day. What was it like as players, when you've played under John, then to suddenly be facing them in the dugout so quickly?
Look, I think it's everything else. Footballers are a kind of strange breed. They're very, they can be very selfish, and it's really just sometimes about themselves and making sure that they look after kind of number one. So I think when we played that day, I think the talk in the dressing room was let's do one in Lambie and make sure we get a result here. Because if he goes to Hamilton and he does what he does best, then it just reinforces, it kind of raises his persona. Whereas, it was important for us to make sure that you've left a good side here and we're going to show you we're a good side. So that's what happened.
I've never understood to this day why he went back to Hamilton at that point, when he was building a team and building a good team.
Alan, back then there wasn't a lot of money in football, and John, had been at Hamilton probably for a number of years and probably was probably living with a working man's wage. And I think he came to Thistle, seen Thistle as a good opportunity, bigger club, and whatever's happened at Hamilton, somebody has, waved a few quid in front of him, and he's decided, I've got a family to look after, I'm not getting any younger, this is an opportunity, and he went back to Hamilton.
Just from a football point of view,
Sorry?
Sorry, Aaron, you go.
No, sorry, Alan. Carry on.
No, sorry, on you go, David.
I was just going to ask. Obviously, the difference in the management. And obviously, the season took an absolute dip of epic proportions, only as probably Thistle teams can do. Under Sandy Clark, now was that just he didn't take, or just different ideas, or?
I don't know. I mean, I really like Sandy Clark. I thought his training was great. His man management was great. He was just, I liked him. He came in, and I think the first 5 or 6 games we did really well. Yeah. And then we went on a run. I don't know, maybe a dozen, 15 games, and I think we hardly got a win. And Sandy left. So again, I think Thistle looked and went, right, who's the one guy we're going to get that's going to get us back up here? John Lambie. And again, I think they've went and they've offered him more money.
Yeah.
Back. And I touched on it earlier. I'll never forget it. I was working, and it was one of the horrible days in these. You know, back then, Firhill was an absolute sandpit.
Aye.
And I thought, we're playing Ayr United. And I thought, game's got to be off. So I'm in work, 12 o'clock. I phone up as just a punter, just to say, I'm just phoning up to see if the game's on tonight. And I think it might have been Molly. And she went, oh, the game's definitely on tonight, definitely on. I was like, right, okay. Went up, we beat Ayr United 4-1. We absolutely destroyed them.
Aye.
And that was Lambie. So, you ask the question, Lambie leaves and he comes back. And the first game back, we go out and we beat Ayr United 4-1, but we can't win a game for about 12 games under Sandy Clark.
Yeah.
And Gary, would Lambie gloat about that in the dressing room afterwards? Would he say, is it that made all the difference or not? What was he like?
No, no, he wasn't one for gloating. I think he probably looked at the squad and thought to himself, they're totally underperforming, and probably asking himself questions, why are they not picking up victories? Because he's looking through the squad and he's thinking, there's quality right through, they're good enough to be challenging at the top end of the league, and they're not performing. And it wasn't as if the players, every other players liked Sandy. It wasn't as if they downed tools. It wasn't as if there was major bust ups. As I say, the training was good. Sandy's man management was good. We just didn't get results. And Lambie come back and it just, again, exploded.
And if we look at the promotion winning season, that's a wee bit bittersweet for you, Gary, because you picked up a really bad injury, didn't you, pre-season?
Yeah, we went up to, back then you used to do all your kind of pre-season tours up in the Highlands where you played all the Highland League teams and what have you. And we played a team called Ballintor. Now, I never heard of Ballintor, didn't even know where it was. We played a game, there's nobody near me. The goalkeeper kicks a by kick out and I go up for a header. And all you could hear, it's as if somebody had shot, somebody pulled a gun. But it was actually my Achilles had snapped. But I didn't know that at the time. So it wasn't until I came home and I went up to the hospital and the doctor looked at it and he went, he says, it looks like, severely damaged your tendons and your ankle. And he strapped it up and he says, come back in on Monday. And I went back in on Monday and the surgeon, the doctor looked at it and went, that's a classic ruptured Achilles tendon. And I was straight in that day and got operated on. So it was a bit bittersweet, but I mean, again, as I said right at the beginning, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I had come back from injury in January. But at that time, the team had been kind of settled, with Lambie being Lambie, I need two players. He was always inviting, more players. So the team had been settled, performing well. And to be fair to him, he got me fully involved, got me involved in everything. I mean, I went down to Blackpool for the infamous, Lambie in the water.
Yeah.
And that was great. And then I came back from injury. I played a couple of games. I think I was on the bench against Dundee. It was my first game back. I think that was the George Shaw game. He scored a hat-trick or 4 goals or something. And that was great. Then I played at Kilmarnock. And I didn't play particularly well. I was off the pace. Thankfully, Jim Duffy was beside me. I came in, I think Gordon Ray was injured. I came in centre half. He pulled me aside and he said, look, you need to get your fitness up. I said, no, I totally agree with you. Then I think we played Wraith Rovers near the end of the season. And I was on the bench again. And then leading up to the Forfar game, Davy Irons and Ray Farming had been suspended.
Yeah.
So Lambie, being classic Lambie, pulled me aside on the Monday. And he said, look, you're playing on Saturday. I need you to have a really good week's training. I need you to get your head on. I need you to be focused, he says, because this is, the biggest game in the club's history in the last however many years. So, again, he knew how to get you going. So I was buzzing the whole week, couldn't wait to the Saturday. And as you know, the game was a bit, edgy and, we probably should have scored a couple of goals, but we didn't score a couple of goals. But to actually play in the game that got promotion, again, was fantastic,
Coming in for that one was great timing, I suppose. But you've talked about being edgy. I'm still nervous about that game now.
You're right. And, I mean, I think I came off with about 9 minutes to go or something like that, and I was sitting there, and absolute stonewall penalty. Duff's ended the ball. And the referee has clearly just went, there's no way I can give a penalty kick. There's just no way.
You could actually see it in his face. You could see it in the referee's face. And going, oh no, I'm just not doing this. I'm just not doing it.
But remember, all the Thistle fans were sitting at the bin end or the city end on the wall, just about to do the pitch.
That's right, aye, they were all on the pitch. I mean, that was fantastic scenes, because obviously Thistle, you know, going back to the beginning of Lambie, you had the Thistle rising, you had the new kind of chairman coming in, and Jim Oliver coming in, and these people, and the kind of rebranding and that. So the club was really heading in the right direction. So, and you know, people ask me, you know, when they're talking about my days at Partick Thistle, I remember going to Forfar and places like that and taking 700-800 supporters. That's, you know, the travelling away support was phenomenal. And certainly at that period when we were on a kind of run, it was great to know that you were turning up to some of these kind of far out places, knowing that you had a right good crowd behind you, you know, cheering you on. So, aye, that was a great day, great night, great weekend.
You mentioned a few of the strikers earlier on, and I was listing them beforehand. Some quality players: Eddie Gallagher, Jerry McCoy. You mentioned John Flood, Colin McGlashan, Colin Campbell. Anything specific with them that you remember, or you know, we seem to have a great real period of quality strikers back then.
No, you're right. Eddie Gallagher had just left when I came, but Jerry McCoy was there. But to be honest, I'm not sure Lambie. I don't know if they had some history before that, but Lambie just didn't seem to like him that much, you know. But Jerry being Jerry, he was such, and I go back to the earlier comment about football players being selfish. Jerry had a good job out with football. So whilst he loved playing football, it wasn't his main earner. So he used to just come in, train, play, score goals, and go away. And Lambie didn't really take to him for some reason. So I think he got rid of him fairly no long into his, you know, maybe about a year. And then he brought in wee Dibble. He came in for Clyde, as you know, big rivalry, Thistle, Clyde. And Dibble was always a thorn on our side, you know. He's always a good player. You know, he could hold the ball up well. He could find the net. Colin Campbell came in. I mean, he was just a big battering ram. He played at Airdrie, and he caused his untold problems. So they were a good foil for each other. So, but again, that was one of Lambie's strengths. He could see a player, know that player could fit into the system or fit into the squad, bring him in, use him for what he needed him, and then when he didn't need him, he would move him on and he'd bring somebody else in. He was brilliant at it.
Just a knack for it, Gary. He seems to have that, you know. The other thing, of course, we hadn't mentioned was the Rangers game, the friendly, which was actually Maurice Johnson's kind of official. It was his public debut that night, wasn't it? You know, and obviously coming back. How long had you been working in that kickoff? Because we did it 2-3 times that season, scoring straight for kickoff without any opposition touching the ball.
Do you know? I don't honestly know. I can't honestly remember. But you know, it was just one of the. As a player, and we were obviously playing at Partick Thistle, and our eye was to get into the Premier League. But at that time, as you know, Rangers were spending silly money on top international players. So Graham Souness had agreed to play Partick Thistle in a pre-season friendly, but we played them behind closed doors the previous week.
Right.
So he said, if we can play a game behind closed doors, we'll play you in a kind of open game. So we played them behind closed doors, and it was, I think they won 2-1 in the game. And then we played that game, and as I say, all I can actually remember is it was 9 seconds when I scored the goal. I can't actually remember, you know, who played who passed, and the ball went in the net.
My memory, I think, was 5 passes or something. It was kick off back to check out to Jerry and then in. There was only about 5 touches.
But again, we played probably the first 60 minutes. We matched them, and then I think just probably the ability and their maybe level of fitness kind of took over. Because I remember I hit the post just before half time to make it 3-2, and we were in at half time 3-2. And then we obviously came into the second half, and I think our legs gone, and then they win 4-2. I think it finished.
Yeah,
that was a great experience, and obviously the connection with Maurice Johnson and Thistle as well. So there was a wee added spice to that, and given his, you know, introduction to Rangers and everything that went with that, it was was an interesting night, shall we say.
It was a great game. I remember that game really well because it was a pre-season and obviously we scored first, then Johnson scored, and then we went up the park and scored again pretty soon after that. It was real ding-dong stuff. We did run out of legs in the end, but did Bobby no punch one off the goal for a penalty?
That was the last one, wasn't it? Where he made the two-handed save. It was a brilliant save.
Aye, he might well have done, Alan. I'm not 100%.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. But I know it was a good night, and I think we certainly gave a good account of ourselves.
Do you know, listen, bang on, we were talking about it during the week, and I those memories of a young boy, like the two fullbacks, I think it was Robertson and Gary Stevens they had. I've never seen anything like it in my life. You know, they were playing like wingers, you know, it was, and looking back on it, they were champions, spending all that cash, quality players, and we were taking the game to them. I mean, it's, you know, from a first division side at the time, the football has changed so much. When you look at that, I mean, if that happened nowadays, you would just sit in, wouldn't you, against the big boys? But good memories.
Yeah.
Just some of the other players back then. I was looking at obviously Jim Duffy, got a manager, Budgie McGee, got on a good manager at Clydebank. What were some of these kind of characters like? Was a lot of leadership in the squad?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a great squad to be in, you know, and back then you didn't have social media, so you know, going out for a pint on a Saturday night, you didn't feel the worry of people taking your picture or, you know, feeding back to your manager or whatever. So, you know, you had people like Duff, you had people like Chick, you know, wee Floody was a character, and then you had like a big Gordon Ray come in. So there were some leaders, and Lambie was brilliant, as I say, looking at the squad and then thinking, right, what do I need to strengthen and who do I need? And then he was able to go and pick up quality players, you know, bringing in like Geordie Shaw, Jerry Britton, Davy Irons, Ray Farningham. I mean, they were quality Premier League players coming to Thistle. So, they were good days and some real characters. But you needed that because you couldn't rest on what you had. We realised that the squad he inherited wasn't going to be good enough to get promoted. So you had to see who he thought would, you know, add value and bring it in and then take it forward.
And of course, you then had played in the Premier. You're playing in the Premier League as well, you know, with Thistle. And was there a big gulf at that time? Because obviously, financially now there's a huge gulf between the Championship in Scotland and the Premier, the top bit of the Premier League. But I mean, we were beating Celtic, we were beating Aberdeen, we were taking points off Rangers. That's, you know, those seasons.
No, I think you're right, Raymond. I think probably in initial stages it was probably maybe fitness levels. You know, I think they were established teams and their intensity was probably just that wee bit higher than ours. But I think we went in and, you know, I think I played maybe the first 10, 12 games of that season and we really gave a good account of ourselves. I think we won a few games and we held our own. And then, as you say, went on and beat Rangers, beat Celtic, and, you know, finished the season well. So, but it was just great to be in amongst it because that's, as a footballer, you want to play at the top level. I was fortunate enough to play it, maybe not as long or as many games as I liked, but just to be involved in that was fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
Gary, you trying to say that Lambie's training techniques are running up down hills in Rockhill Park, didn't they have better than some of the big boys?
Honestly, I mean, you couldn't make up some of the training drills. It was just, you know, when you think back, we were literally running up hills with a big bit of rope and a big Partick tyre tied to it. I'm at the side barking out a bloody megaphone, you know, and giving you pelters if you were lagging behind. But you know, it worked. You know, what can you say? You know, it's like he was able to get the best out of what he had, and you know, Thistle, from where he took over and where he took them. You know, as much as he was barking mad, he clearly had a football brain, and he could clearly, you know, get a team, get a shape, get a way of working, and get results.
And also, as you said, adding to the squad, bringing guys in. I mean, that's a skill in itself. The man management thing's one thing, but managing a team like that and going forward all the time, improving the team. It's not something that every manager can do.
No, absolutely. And you know yourself, because you follow them week in, week out, you know, Thistle in many ways are the kind of, well, a bit like St Mirren, they're a kind of yo-yo club, you know, they have their couple of seasons where they get into the top division and they hold their own, and then for whatever reason, they seem to struggle and they go back down and sit for a couple of years, and then they get back up. And Lambie was great at just getting that type of player and getting the club to where they were. And then when he stepped aside, somebody else came in, and then they hit that lull, and then he had to come back in and get them back up again.
And you played in it. Am I right in saying you played in that infamous Les Mottram game that we spoke to Andy Murdoch about a few weeks ago, didn't you?
I did.
What was your experience of that?
I mean, I think I was playing right back that day. I mean, that's just bizarre. It's even thinking about it now, you know, it's as clear. I'm sitting here now, and it's as clear as day that the ball hits the stanchion, and I think Martin Clark picks it up and hands it to Andy. And Andy then kicks out the part, and Les Mottram's running up saying, play on. And you know, sort of standing going, what's happening? Again, it's like, as I say, you're involved in these games, and these are games that people still talk about. You know, the infamous Les Mottram game. So to be involved in a game that was so bizarre, it was strange.
What about the Blackpool trip? Who was responsible?
Nobody, it sounds it.
I don't think it. You know, it's like, as I say, footballers are always into hijinks. I was actually, the squad had already been down on the Monday. I think I travelled down on the Tuesday with physio, and they were training on the beach, and I was just doing my own training because I was recovering from my Achilles tendon injury. I think it was maybe early January, and I don't know. I couldn't tell you what player decided, but I think it just seemed like a good idea at the time, didn't it? The water tide was coming in, Lambie's on there, probably barking orders at somebody, and somebody says, let's just grab him and throw him in the water. And I can picture him now sitting in a hotel, holding his lung as if he was just about to die. But, you know, it did turn out to be quite a serious injury. You know,
yeah.
His lung had collapsed. So it probably just let you know that sometimes all the tomfoolery and the hijinks isn't always the best way forward. That was the type of squad he had, you know. That was the camaraderie was there. You know, one thing about John Lambie, when you went away trips, he treated you like an adult. He didn't treat you like a wee boy where he gave you, you know, he would say, right, we've done a hard day's training, go out tonight, have a few pints, you get yourself back in at 12 o'clock, nothing silly. And players they just responded because he knew that they respected him, and he respected that if he did what you wanted, then he would give you a wee bit of leeway. So you can't argue with that.
I'm sure we went on a good win and run after he get launched in the sea with Rocky strips. I think they scared the players have been too scared to lose.
Aye, absolutely.
So obviously you then sort of moved across to Northern Ireland, which I'll come back to, because what I was going to ask was what's your standout, what's your best moment at Thistle?
Well, we've touched on a couple of them. You know, obviously, winning the Glasgow Cup was good. Scoring the goal in 9 seconds against Rangers, you know, again is a highlight. But I think being injured and coming back to take part in the kind of final game against Forfar, and as you said there, the crowd was phenomenal. You know, it was a packed Firhill. They were all around the pitch. You know, they'd come out some dark days, and to get promoted, and it's easy to say now that you're promoted, but given the kind of the build up to the game, the pressure that was involved, because you know you had to get a result. Hamilton were sitting there waiting, so it was just a culmination of things. But then to get promoted into the Premier League was just so there was loads of good experiences. And as much as Lambie freed me, I have nothing but good things to say about the man. You know, even when he did free me, you know, he said, look, I've had several clubs interested. Come back up. Once I saw Dice doing, come back up and see me next week. He says, and I'll get you tied up. He said, the club just needs to cut some costs and trim the squad. So I've got nothing but good things to say about him,
Yeah, of course that then took you across the Irish Ocean, the Irish Sea to a very, very successful. I mean, you're revered as much over there as you were at Thistle.
You've no idea. I mean, I was doing a podcast a few weeks ago for some guys over in Northern Ireland, and I didn't tell the story, but Linfield played Rangers at Ibrox about 7-8 years ago. And a good friend of mine that I worked with was a real big Rangers fan. And I says, look, I'll get a couple of tickets and we'll go to the game. He said, oh, brilliant. So I phoned the kit man at Linfield. I says, look, you fancy getting us a few tickets? She says, no bother, we're staying at the Glenhill. I says, right, I'll be down to get them. So I didn't get a couple of tickets, went to the game, and we're in the Linfield end. And there's maybe about 1,000, 1,200 Linfield fans. And I spent the whole game getting my picture taken, shaking hands. They were singing my name. And my wee pal's sitting there, and he's like, as I'm sitting one in, and he's sitting at the end, and he had to stand up every time to go for somebody else to shake my hand or ask for a picture. He says, this is unbelievable. He says, I've never seen anything. And that's what it's like. It was crazy that, a crazy couple of years at Linfield, won a lot of trophies, scored a few goals, and I mean, most of my Twitter followers are all Linfield fans.
Because it was Linfield, Portadown, Newry, and I think it was
Linfield, Portadown, Newry,
well.
and I won. The first year at Linfield, we won the treble. I scored the winning goal in the League Cup final on the Tuesday. We won the league on the Saturday, and we won the Irish Cup the following Saturday, and I scored the winning goal. The following season, we won the Irish Cup. I then was transferred to Portadown. The ironic thing is, we played Linfield maybe about 3 or 4 times that season, and I scored every time. We won the league. And then I left Portadown, and I went to Newry, who had got big investment. A local businessman decided that he wanted Newry to challenge at the top end of the Irish League. And he signed me for Portadown, and we won the first division. And the following year, we finished 4th, and we get into the Intertotal Cup. But by that time, I'd picked up a bad injury, and to be honest, my legs had gone by then, so it was really time to come home. I spent a month at Ards. But no, they were, back to the old adage, better to be lucky than good. I was fortunate that Lambie had a connection with a manager at Portadown, Ronnie McFall. And I went over there on loan, and I think I played about 18 games. I scored 4 or 5 goals, and I get noticed by Linfield. Linfield won the European Cup. So I played in Europe 10 times. I scored the winning goal in the UEFA Cup against FH Hafnarfjordur. Played in the European Cup against Dynamo Tbilisi and FC Copenhagen. Now, I would have never have done that at Partick Thistle, with all due respect.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
To get the experiences and have that on your CV, albeit it's an Irish league and it's maybe not at the level that the Scottish Premier League, but still fantastic experiences.
Great story.
Brilliant.
So to kind of summarise your Thistle career, how would you describe it to all the fans?
I still keep in touch with a couple of the boys. I'm a big mod. I'm into my scooter scene, and I've got I ride a 1964 Vespa, so I go to some of the scooter rallies, and there's a lot of Thistle boys go there. So I keep in touch with them, and they're always dead complimentary. But I had a great time at Thistle. I was back a few weeks ago, and I did the half-time draw, and again I got a good reception, well looked after. It's a great club, great supporters. Nothing but good things to say about Partick Thistle. Had some great experiences here. It got me back playing regular football, because I was playing at St Mirren, I was in the reserves, and I went to Partick Thistle and I became a regular first team player. And as a footballer, as a young guy, that's all you're looking for. You're just looking to make your mark in the game, and Thistle gave me that opportunity. I had 4 good years here, 4.5 years. So I had nothing but good things to say about the club.
Superb.
Brilliant, Gary. Well, we'll let you get away, because obviously we don't want to eat into your time, but we can say safely that you'll probably be the only Champions League / European Cup Thistle guest that we'll ever have on right now.
Well, that's good. That's definitely, again, that's definitely a good one to keep.
But seriously, thank you so much for taking the time out with us this morning to join us, and stay safe, obviously. And obviously, we're all following you. We all follow you on Twitter anyway, so I'm sure we'll see you back at Firhill when football does eventually come out of this horrible pandemic that's going about.
Okay, thanks very much. I really appreciate the invite, and I'll look with interest on the rest of your Jagcast, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the last 45 minutes, so all the best to you. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Guys, all the best.
Cheers, Gary.
Cheers now.
So, on behalf of Gary, Alan Fraser, number 7, and Donners, this will be coming out this afternoon. You'll be able to pick up the podcast from there, the Zoomcast from there. Stay safe, everybody at home. We will have more guests lined up next week and the following week, so we'll maybe drop an odd clue or two through the Twitter and the Facebook sites. So stay safe, stay home, save lives, and look after yourselves.